It started with a wedding dress and now it's a full-on family feud.
This family feud is taking over the internet. We knew for months now that there was some kind of tension brewing between Brooklyn Beckham and his parents, David and Victoria. But now we're hearing from Brooklyn himself. He's telling his side of the story.
Brooklyn Beckham versus the Beckham family exposed. This isn't just gossip. It's a full-blown celebrity meltdown. The perfect family empire everyone admired is now cracking right in front of the cameras. How did the Beckham brand go from picture-perfect family moments in the front row to rumors of Instagram blocks, wiped memories, and communication only handled through lawyers? And why does Nicola Peltz Beckham always seem to be right in the middle of every headline? Welcome to Celeb Stream TV, where today we're diving into the full timeline, the posts, the drama, and the receipts that reveal when it all went down. Brooklyn Peltz Beckham now holds over 16 million followers across his social media empire. But here's the shocker. The people who matter most can't even text him anymore. He's 26, the firstborn of David and Victoria Beckham, and grew up under a spotlight most people couldn't handle. From his nursery days being chased by paparazzi to his christening making global headlines, Brooklyn was famous before he even knew what fame was. He grew up watching his dad bend footballs into the back of the net while his mom ruled the fashion world with her sharp style and power moves. But behind the glamour, that kind of legacy can crush you. And for Brooklyn, the pressure was reportedly unbearable. He tried everything to carve out his own lane. First came photography. He even dropped a photo book that critics absolutely tore apart. Then modeling gigs came and went like passing trends. Not giving up, he turned to cooking and launched a hot sauce brand called Cloud 23 in October 2024. His family cheered him on with Instagram shout-outs and smiling red carpet appearances. But no matter what he did, nothing seemed to click the way he hoped. Then came Nicola Peltz, the billionaire heiress and daughter of investor Nelson Peltz, and suddenly, Brooklyn's life flipped overnight. They tied the knot on April 9th, 2022, in a black-tie Palm Beach wedding at the Peltz family's luxurious estate. Reports say the ceremony cost millions, and the world's biggest outlets covered every detail. It was supposed to be the start of a glittering new era, the ultimate union of two powerful families. Instead, insiders claimed that what looked like a fairy tale turned into the beginning of the end. By 2025, the cracks in the Beckham dynasty were too big to hide. Rumors say Brooklyn skipped his father's massive 50th birthday bash in London, a star-studded event filled with family, friends, and A-list guests, but no Brooklyn in sight. Then, when David was knighted by King Charles III that November, his eldest son was nowhere to be seen again. The absence spoke volumes. Every missed moment looked like a message that Brooklyn was quietly picking a different side, a different family. Around this same time, Brooklyn dropped a video of him and Nicola cruising on a motorcycle, captioned with a bold statement that he would always choose her. The timing raised eyebrows everywhere, landing right as headlines buzzed about his father's birthday snub. Coincidence? Not likely. And just when everyone thought the family drama couldn't go any deeper, Brooklyn made a shocking move. He reportedly hired the same legal team that once represented Meghan Markle during her very public break from the royal family. Fans couldn't ignore the parallel. What could drive a son to reach a point where every word to his parents had to go through lawyers? The situation had gone from awkward to explosive, and everyone wanted to know what really happened behind closed doors. Every like and subscribe boosts this channel more than you can imagine. But before the lawyers, before the unfollows and the Instagram blocks, there was one name that kept popping up again and again, Nicola. And if you think she's just the wife, wait until you hear how her family's billions, her power moves, and one shocking wedding choice reportedly flipped everything upside down. Fans had plenty to say, and the internet didn't hold back. One comment read, "Brooklyn comes across as being a spoiled brat who is absolutely controlled by his wife. He has no spine, no skills, no talent, and no family thanks to wifey." Others echoed the same vibe, saying things like, "I feel for David and Victoria and their other children. Very sad for them." Another person wrote, "Sad thing is, Brooklyn Beckham would be no one but a regular bloke. Without his famous parents, he'd never have had a chance to meet his wife without that family name." Some fans even tried to keep things hopeful, writing, "I hope the family can somehow get back to being a whole family again. Life's way too short to be hostile to the people who love you." But then came harsher takes like, "He's a spoiled brat with no looks or talent. I wish his parents would disown him, cut him off from the money now, and give him no inheritance. The opinions were brutal, emotional, and impossible to ignore. Every comment painted a deeper picture of just how much this family drama had split not only the Beckhams, but the entire fan base watching it all unfold. Who does he think he is, treating his parents like that? That's the question fans kept shouting online as the drama deepened. Because let's be real, Nicola Peltz Beckham isn't just some actress in the spotlight, she's a powerhouse in her own right. With around 3 million Instagram followers, she comes from a level of wealth that reportedly makes even the Beckham fortune look small in comparison. At 31, Nicola's got a serious resume. She starred in Bates Motel, Transformers, Age of Extinction, and The Last Airbender. But her biggest influence doesn't come from Hollywood fame. It comes from her father, Nelson Peltz, a billionaire investor and co-founder of Tryon Fund Management. This is a man who sat on the boards of corporate giants like Procter & Gamble and Unilever. That's a whole different kind of power. When People magazine calls your family anti-Hollywood, that's how you know the money runs deep and the mindset runs even deeper. Nicola even wrote and directed her first feature film, Lola, which was picked up by Vertical for North American release and premiered in February 2024. She's talented, loaded, and strong-willed, the total package. And that mix of influence and independence, exactly what insiders claim Victoria Beckham never wanted shaping her eldest son's future. From the moment Brooklyn and Nicola got serious, whispers started swirling inside the Beckham circle. And they weren't quiet. Sources close to the family allegedly claimed that Nicola was pulling Brooklyn away, slowly controlling him and turning him against his own bloodline. The accusations were denied again and again, but according to multiple outlets, the rumors just wouldn't die. Fans online were just as vocal. Comments flooded in saying things like, "Sorry, but Nicola is the problem. Brooklyn, run." And Brooklyn seems so nice and genuine. And she seems like a narcissist who isn't into him at all. He's way more into her than she is into him. The internet was clearly picking sides, and most weren't in Nicola's corner. Then came the moment that made everything explode publicly. The wedding dress drama. In August 2022, Nicola told Variety that she had originally planned to wear a Victoria Beckham design for her big day, but that Victoria's atelier couldn't make it happen, so she had to go with a custom Valentino gown instead. That tiny detail set off a media storm. What should have been a simple bridal choice suddenly became the first public crack in the family's perfect image, and people haven't stopped talking about it since.
And one thing I think is very telling, the entire family is supporting Victoria publicly. And throughout history, I've never heard anything, any rumors, any gossip, any speculation regarding family matters in their family.
Nicola tried to brush off the tension, saying no family is perfect when asked about those feud rumors in interviews. But behind the scenes, insiders claimed Victoria never truly moved past it. Imagine being one of the world's most famous moms and feeling publicly snubbed by your future daughter-in-law on your own son's wedding day. That wound reportedly never healed. Then came the bombshell move that shook fans everywhere. On January 11th, 2026, Nicola quietly wiped her Instagram clean, deleting every single photo featuring the Beckham family. Gone in seconds were years of memories, smiles, and public love. Even her April 2024 birthday post for Victoria disappeared, the one where Nicola had written, "I love you so much and love being your dance partner forever." At the time, Victoria had sweetly replied, "Love you so much," and kisses. But now, every trace of that connection had vanished. With just a few taps on a phone screen, Nicola erased digital history in a clean break that said more than any interview ever could. Fans were stunned, and speculation exploded overnight. Moves like that don't happen by accident. They happen when something deep has officially broken. We don't just repeat celebrity stories, we tear them apart and dig into what really went down. If you're here for that kind of real talk, make sure you're subscribed because this next part changes everything. The message was loud and clear. Whatever bond once existed between the Beckhams and the Peltzes was done. But according to insiders, the real drama didn't start years later. It started on the wedding day itself. Because if Nicola wiping the Beckham family off her Instagram felt cold, what reportedly happened during the ceremony was downright brutal. A single mic moment, just seconds long, supposedly embarrassed the bride in front of the entire guest list. and quietly blew up the relationship between these two powerhouse families from the inside out. It all went down on April 9th, 2022, at the luxurious Peltz family estate in Palm Beach, Florida. What was meant to be a flawless fairy tale wedding uniting two global dynasties allegedly turned into a behind-the-scenes power struggle that no one could forget. The event was dripping in luxury, packed with A-list stars from around the world, and yet beneath the glitz, the tension was reportedly electric. One wrong word, and everything changed. The gown, pure Valentino couture, not a Victoria Beckham design like everyone had expected. The venue, straight up luxury, drenched in Peltz family wealth, grand, glittering, and completely theirs. From the moment the celebration kicked off, sources say the Beckhams felt like background guests at their own son's wedding. According to one insider who spoke to the Daily Mail, the seating chart said it all. The top table was all Peltz's, and it really felt as though the Beckhams were not at the forefront. That single detail supposedly summed up the whole vibe. Every moment screamed Peltz power, while the Beckham name, once the headliner, quietly faded into the background. Guests reportedly whispered that it felt more like her family's event than a union of equals. And while David and Victoria kept their signature smiles plastered on for the flashing cameras, insiders claim the sting ran deep behind those perfect poses. The night that should have united two dynasties instead left one side feeling sidelined, unseen, and quietly humiliated. Then came the moment, the first dance that allegedly shattered whatever peace was left between the two families. According to E! News insiders, Brooklyn and Nicola were told they'd be treated to a surprise performance by singer Mark Anthony, a close friend of the Peltz family. Sounds romantic, right? But what happened next reportedly flipped the mood completely. When Mark grabbed the mic, he didn't dedicate the song to the glowing bride or the happy couple. Instead, he said, "Please welcome to the stage the most beautiful woman in the room, Victoria Beckham." Not Nicola, not the bride. The entire room froze. Sources claim Brooklyn looked lost, unsure of how to react as his mom suddenly took center stage during what was supposed to be his and Nicola's private moment. Nicola was reportedly left in tears, embarrassed in front of hundreds of guests and cameras capturing every second. Victoria later brushed off the rumors in interviews, saying the wedding was beautiful and that seeing her son happy meant everything. But behind the scenes, insiders close to Nicola insist the humiliation never faded, it was never forgotten, and definitely never forgiven. The Peltz side allegedly saw it as Victoria trying to steal her son's spotlight, while the Beckham camp dismissed it as a total misunderstanding blown out of proportion. But one thing everyone agrees on, that night changed everything. The damage was deep, emotional, and permanent. For the next 2 years, both families kept up appearances, smiling for photos, attending events, and posting sweet captions like nothing was wrong. But insiders say that behind the glossy images, the tension was boiling. Resentment was quietly building between the Beckhams and the Peltzes, and by 2025, it reportedly reached a breaking point no one could have seen coming. Fans were completely split on who to believe, flooding comment sections with fiery takes. One person wrote, "I'm sorry, but why should the bride be forced to wear Victoria's dress? It's her wedding." Another added, "Her mother-in-law should have just minded her own business." Others flipped the script, calling out both sides. "Brooklyn is the new Harry, spoiled and entitled," someone claimed, while another shot back with, "Nicola reminds me of a spoiled little rich girl who never had to work for anything." And then there were those defending the Beckhams, saying, "It's not true that Victoria was mad about the dress," while another commenter fired, "And as for Nicola, what does she even do? I never heard of her until she started dating Brooklyn." The debates were endless, and every new rumor just pulled fans further into the chaos. What started as a fairy tale marriage had officially turned into one of Hollywood's most dramatic family feuds. Here's where things take a darker turn, because when a family's entire brand is built on unity, any crack becomes impossible to hide. What David and Victoria Beckham reportedly did next, and what they didn't do, made the silence feel intentional, pushing this private feud into a full-blown public crisis. Together, David and Victoria have a combined social media following of over 160 million. Their empire has always been about image, control, and that flawless picture of family harmony. But behind the perfect photos, watching their eldest son drift further away was reportedly their biggest heartbreak. And the worst part? They allegedly had no clue how to stop it. At 50, David is a global football legend turned business powerhouse. His Inter Miami team even won the MLS Cup in 2025, and just months later, he was knighted by King Charles III, the ultimate milestone in a life filled with achievements. But the one person missing from that proud moment? His firstborn, Brooklyn. Meanwhile, Victoria, now 51, evolved from pop sensation to fashion mogul and Netflix documentary star, her reputation built on elegance, loyalty, and family-first values. Back in October 2022, she told Today, "As a mother, to see my son so happy means so much. What more can you ask for?" Those words once defined her, but time has a way of changing everything. According to People magazine, both David and Victoria tried again and again to fix things with Brooklyn and Nicola, reaching out publicly and privately. But every move, every olive branch reportedly backfired or was completely ignored. What started as quiet tension had now become a cold war between Britain's golden couple and their own son. On December 31st, 2025, David Beckham dropped his big year-end recap on Instagram. A carousel of 20 photos celebrating everything from his knighthood to Inter Miami's championship win, plus cozy family shots with Victoria, Romeo, Cruz, and 14-year-old Harper. But sharp-eyed fans noticed something immediately. Brooklyn and Nicola were nowhere to be seen. The omission hit hard and fast. Comment sections exploded with people asking, "Where's Brooklyn? And why isn't his eldest even in one picture?" Within hours, media outlets jumped all over it, turning one missing photo into front-page drama. Allegedly feeling the pressure, David tried to calm the storm by posting a few throwback Instagram stories featuring Brooklyn, adding a heartfelt caption, "I love you all so much." But according to reports, Brooklyn never replied. No like, no comment, nothing. The silence spoke louder than words. Then came the real bombshell. According to the Sun and Daily Mail, the Beckhams had hired Harbottle and Lewis, the same top-tier law firm that represents King Charles himself, just to manage communication with their own son. This firm reportedly charges a jaw-dropping £800 an hour. Imagine that, Britain's most famous family needing royal-level lawyers to talk to their eldest child. Insiders describe David and Victoria as devastated, confused, and completely heartbroken. What once looked like the strongest celebrity family in the world now seemed fractured beyond repair, and no photo filter could hide it. Sources close to the situation say David and Victoria only want one thing: for Brooklyn to know the door is always open. But there's one condition. If reconciliation happens, it must be private. No cameras, no social media, no stage posts. However, insiders claim Brooklyn wasn't on the same page. His version of boundaries reportedly meant legal walls, blocked accounts, and total distance. Something sources say Nicola may have quietly encouraged. And when the public heard about it, opinions went wild. One person wrote, "This is Brooklyn's wife's claim to fame. Without Brooklyn, no one knew who she was. And without David and Victoria, no one knew who he was." Another said, "Victoria's a beautiful, strong woman. Nicola's just jealous." Then came harsher takes like, "I smell a narcissist in the mix, and I think it's Brooklyn's wife, and she's isolated him from his family, turned him against them. That's textbook manipulation." But was Nicola really the villain in all this? Or was there something deeper driving Brooklyn to cut off the people who made him who he is?
He wouldn't be in the position, He wouldn't be in the position to meet a billionairess, if it wasn't for his mum and dad's status in life. He needs to grow a pair.
Because what happened next wasn't just family drama, it became an online war. When you find out who allegedly hit that block button first and the reason behind it, everything changes. The situation went from emotional to explosive, marking the point of no return. This channel isn't just about gossip, it's a full-on docu-series exposing how the rich and famous really act when the cameras stop rolling. And Christmas 2025, it should have been about love and family. But instead, it became the coldest holiday yet. Instead of a cozy Christmas reunion, the 2025 holiday season allegedly became the breaking point. The moment the Beckham family completely fractured, all of it unfolding live across Instagram. Every unfollow, every deleted post, every cryptic story, fans watched it all play out in real time like a digital soap opera. Brooklyn and Nicola spent Christmas at the Peltz family's luxury estate in Palm Beach, Florida. Photos showed Brooklyn laughing and playing tennis with Nicola's brother and pro player Riley Polka. They looked carefree, glowing, and totally at peace, as if nothing was wrong. But nearly 5,000 miles away in the UK, David, Victoria, Romeo, Cruz, and Harper reportedly gathered at their stunning Cotswolds estate without their eldest son. It was the first family Christmas in memory without Brooklyn at the table, and that silence spoke louder than any post. Then came Cruz's bombshell. On December 21st, 2025, fans noticed that David and Victoria were no longer following Brooklyn on Instagram, and chaos erupted online. People assumed the Beckhams had unfollowed their son out of anger, and the rumors exploded instantly. But Cruz shut it down fast. In a surprising Instagram story, he wrote, "Not true. My mom and dad would never unfollow their son. Let's get the facts right. They woke up blocked, as did I." That single message flipped the whole narrative, revealing that the Beckhams hadn't cut Brooklyn off, he'd cut them. It was the confirmation fans didn't expect, and it sent shockwaves through both families' followers. Brooklyn had reportedly gone nuclear, blocking his entire immediate family on Instagram. His parents, David and Victoria, and both brothers, Romeo and Cruz, were all suddenly locked out of his digital world. They couldn't see his posts, couldn't comment on his cooking videos, couldn't even drop a single heart emoji on a family throwback anymore. Just like that, every trace of connection was cut off. Sources claim the blocking happened right after one small but shocking moment. When Victoria liked one of Brooklyn's Instagram posts in December 2025, a simple clip of him roasting a chicken in the kitchen. That harmless like, one innocent tap, reportedly broke the terms of a legal letter Brooklyn had sent months earlier, laying out strict boundaries about contact and social media interaction. According to The Sun, Brooklyn allegedly believed his family's continued engagement on his posts, every like, every comment, every story view, went directly against his request for private communication only. He saw even the smallest digital gesture as a violation of his personal space. By then, the so-called digital war had officially hit its peak, but insiders point out the tension had been building long before. Back in July 2025, when Brooklyn and Nicola had already unfollowed Romeo and Cruz, the message was clear. The Beckhams weren't just split emotionally, they were divided online too, one block at a time. In August 2025, Brooklyn and Nicola reportedly renewed their wedding vows, but here's the twist. The guest list of over 200 people was made up entirely of her side of the family. Not a single Beckham was invited, and sources say David and Victoria didn't even know it was happening until they saw it online. According to The Sun, when they found out after the fact, it felt like the ultimate betrayal. The final kick in the teeth, one insider described it. But believe it or not, the vow renewal snub wasn't even Brooklyn's most dramatic move. The real shocker had already gone down months earlier, a move that reportedly involved high-powered lawyers, formal letters, and demands so intense they left even close family friends speechless. It was no longer just a family feud. It had turned into a legal Cold War. Fans, of course, had strong opinions about all of it. One wrote, "Brooklyn Beckham is only famous because of his parents," while another added, "Nicola Peltz is only known because her dad's a billionaire." Some even tried to trace the tension back years, with one comment saying, when Brooklyn was 14 and his dad made him work at that French cafe in London just to buy sneakers, that's when the trauma started. They forced him to work even though they were filthy rich. Every comment added more heat to the story, and by this point, what should have been a family milestone had turned into a public spectacle of pride, silence, and serious legal firepower. He's not working class. He married a billionaire heiress, and now he'll never have to work again. That's what fans were saying as the internet lit up with fiery takes about Brooklyn Beckham's feud with his famous family. What hardship did Brooklyn Beckham ever have? One person asked, while another fired back, the Beckhams were right, they wouldn't just hand him money. Some fans even took aim at Nicola, claiming she seems jealous of Victoria, maybe because Victoria and David are actually global icons. And others couldn't resist comparing the drama to royal chaos, saying, "This whole lawyer situation keeps them in the headlines. It's giving Markle-level drama." The reactions were brutal. People were picking sides like it was a celebrity civil war. But then came the real twist, the one that turned this from family gossip into something far more serious. Because once legal letters got involved, it wasn't just a feud anymore. It looked like a calculated separation. What Brooklyn allegedly demanded in writing and what he believed his parents were secretly doing behind his back completely changed the story. On January 20th, 2026, everything came to light. Reports revealed that Brooklyn Beckham had formally sent his parents a cease and desist letter at the end of summer 2025, months before the Christmas blocking ever happened. According to LBC, The Sun, and the Daily Mail, Brooklyn had hired none other than Schillings, the same elite legal firm that once represented Meghan Markle during her dramatic break from the royal family. It wasn't just tension anymore, it was paperwork, lawyers, and silence that screamed louder than any public argument ever could. The letter that shook the Beckham empire reportedly contained 3 specific demands. First, David and Victoria could only contact Brooklyn through his lawyers. Second, they had to stop tagging him on social media. And third, they were to refrain from making any public statements about him whatsoever. According to the Daily Mail, David was directly instructed to communicate with his son only via Schillings, the elite law firm Brooklyn had hired. Sources said it wasn't an official lawsuit. There were no threats of legal action or money involved. Instead, it was described as a desist notice, a sharp, formal boundary meant to create distance and control over the narrative. Insiders claim Brooklyn didn't send the letter out of anger, but out of exhaustion. He allegedly felt smothered, convinced that someone in his parents' circle was feeding stories to the media about his marriage, painting Nicola as manipulative and controlling. Those tabloid whispers, never proven, reportedly shattered the trust between him and his parents, turning every headline into another wound. Brooklyn's message was clear. If there was ever going to be peace, it had to happen privately, not through public posts, captions, or emotional Instagram tributes that he felt were just for show. And yet, when Victoria liked that roast chicken video in December 2025, a harmless little gesture of motherly love, Brooklyn allegedly saw it as proof that his parents still didn't understand. That single tap of a heart emoji in his eyes crossed the line and broke the fragile truce. It wasn't just a family disagreement anymore. It was a cold digital war fought through silence, screens, and lawyers. The digital erasure was complete. Every photo gone, every follow cut, and every legal wall firmly in place. The Beckham family, once seen as Hollywood's most unshakable unit, was now reportedly shattered beyond repair. And by this stage, the comments section practically wrote itself.
People have privately messaged me who know Victoria who have said, like, she's devastated about all of this. Like, I don't hear bad things about her. I do think it was a mistake for him to release that public statement because when he and Nicola divorce, if that happens, he's gonna want his family.
Brooklyn is nothing without his parents, and I've never even heard of his wife, one person blasted. Another chimed in, "These two are just like Harry and Meghan, totally irrelevant but desperate for attention." The takes got harsher by the minute. Brooklyn's not a celebrity, just another spoiled rich kid pretending to be famous. But not everyone aimed at Brooklyn. Some fans turned their criticism toward Victoria, saying she shouldn't have made such a big deal about her daughter-in-law not wearing her dress. It was Nicola's wedding, she should have worn what she wanted. Another added, Victoria ruined her own son's wedding. She should have focused on his happiness and let it go. The internet was split. Everyone had an opinion, and the entire world seemed to be taking sides in a feud that once looked impossible to believe. Then, in a shocking twist, Brooklyn finally did what he'd never done before. He broke the silence. No anonymous sources, no polished PR statements, just Brooklyn himself posting directly on social media. In his own words, he laid out what he says really caused the family fallout and made it clear exactly where he stands now. The world was stunned, because after all the silence, the blocked accounts, and the headlines, Brooklyn finally spoke for himself, and hidden deep within Brooklyn's statement was a claim so explosive it flipped the entire story on its head, a detail about the wedding and family boundaries that he says proves there's no going back. On January 19th, 2026, Brooklyn finally broke his silence. For the first time ever, he dropped a multi-part statement on social media, raw, emotional, and impossible to ignore. It was the clearest picture yet of where he stands in this family feud. He said he'd stayed quiet for years to protect his family's privacy, but now felt backed into a corner, claiming his parents and their team had kept feeding information to the press. According to him, it wasn't about revenge. It was about setting the record straight. Brooklyn made it clear he doesn't want reconciliation right now. He's not ready, and he insists this isn't Nicola's doing. He framed the entire situation as finally standing up for himself after years of living under the weight of a perfect family image. Brooklyn also accused his parents of carefully managing the family's public narrative, calling their posts performative and their relationships for show. He said what people see online isn't real, that the family unity fans adore is just branding. But the biggest bombshell came when he revisited the wedding drama. Brooklyn alleged that before the ceremony, he was pressured to sign away rights to his own name, something he claims could have impacted Nicola and even their future children. That revelation turned everything upside down, transforming what once looked like a petty family rift into a battle over control, identity, and legacy. Brooklyn didn't hold back. He claimed Nicola was never treated like true family, describing one painful moment at their wedding when, he says, his mother interrupted what was supposed to be his and Nicola's first dance. That moment, according to him, is part of why they later renewed their vows, to replace the hurt with better memories. He went on to say Nicola has been constantly disrespected and that every time he tried to set up private meetings to make peace, his parents allegedly refused, unless Nicola was excluded. To Brooklyn, that proved everything. That the family cared more about controlling the narrative than actually rebuilding relationships. He also shut down the idea that Nicola was controlling him, saying the truth was the opposite, that he'd felt controlled his whole life. Brooklyn opened up about battling severe anxiety and said stepping away finally gave him peace. What he and Nicola want now, he said, is simple: privacy, stability, and a life not dictated by the media or family image. And just like that, the fairy tale Beckham dynasty looked more fragile than ever. One family, once worshipped for perfection, now torn apart in front of millions, all because the cracks couldn't stay hidden anymore. Today's expose, Brooklyn Beckham versus the Beckham family, showed just how fast a golden image can collapse when the truth starts leaking through the shine. But don't go anywhere, because the next episode in this celebrity expose series is even more shocking. A brand new story filled with secrets, power plays, and revelations the tabloids won't dare touch. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Tell us whose side you're on because this story is far from over.